somebody will come and get it if you don't pay for it. In the whole bankruptcy code, the only thing you cannot cram down that's a secured debt is your home mortgage. The reason why is in 1988, the banks got together, lobbied Congress to make it non-modifiable. The thinking is only rich people could have second homes, so the idea was to screw the middle class and not be able to cram it down. That being said, there are some good things that are starting to occur. We tried to get cram downs to begin, a few years back with the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcies. We went up there and we lobbied, and we got it through the House in 2008. That was supposed to be amazing. If we could just get it through the House, it was going to just sail through the Senate. Unfortunately, the banks used the TARP money to pay our senators lots of money, and lo and behold, it didn't pass. That, I'm hoping, will change to some extent with this movement, the Occupy Wall Street and the local Occupy Orlando, and I'm from Brevard, Occupy Brevard. We're hoping we'll start to push banks. They are starting to talk about what's called judicial modifications, where we can cram down first mortgages. So I'm hoping one of the things this movement takes care of is cramming down first mortgages to what they're worth, because this whole economic disaster and catastrophe that we're facing right now will not get better until we do that. That, and if we can get a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United, because that made banks and corporations people. I don't think corporations are people until you can execute them in the state of Texas. But that being said, if we could get those two things down, we could accomplish a lot. What we have now, the best thing going in Orlando, and really you're lucky to live here, is we have what's called a mortgage modification program in Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You've all heard about mortgage modifications. The main thing about HAMP and all of the other mortgage modifications across the country is they do not work. Has anybody here tried to do a mortgage modification on their own?
What is that?
That's where you contact the bank and say, hey, I can't make my home mortgage, and they'll try to help you, and you'll send paper, and they'll lose your paper. I don't know how many times. And it takes forever. I had somebody who worked with me who's been hours on the phone. Even lawyers can't get their mortgage modified on their own. So in bankruptcy court, we have two amazing judges here, Judge Arthur Briskman and Judge Karen Gentleman. And actually a creditor's attorney, I won't name his name because he'd probably get in trouble, a bank's attorney, said, we would get more of these mortgage modifications if we had a program. And so one of the judges, Judge Gentleman, asked Lori Weatherford, the Chapter 13 standing trustee, to get a group together and try to work out something, a mortgage modification program in the Chapter 13 program. So we met for about a year. We put together something with the creditors' attorneys. We all worked together and accomplished something that's great. And right now, as it stands right now in Central Florida, which includes Brevard County, Orlando, help me out, Osceola? Seminole County, in this Orlando division, we have a 76% success rate in mortgage modifications. Compare that to about 4% in the state court or on your own. It's amazing. And partly it works because we have accountability. We have two judges in the state, in Orlando. We're the second busiest bankruptcy court in the United States behind Orange County, California. So think of that. Orlando is the busiest bankruptcy court, only with the LA, Los Angeles, being busier than we are. And we have two judges. I think LA has 8. And we have two amazing judges who the bankruptcy debtors attorneys, which is what I am, and the creditors attorneys appear in front of all the time. They're the same firms from Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville. They all appear in front of these judges all the time. So if you appear in front of these judges all the time and you start screwing around and not playing fair, these judges are going to know. And they're going to be able to take appropriate steps. So what we have in Orlando is you can file what's called a Chapter 13. Chapter 13s are individual bankruptcies. They're individual reorganizations. We've all heard of the big corporations, Chrysler, Some of the other big corporations filing Chapter 11s and reorganizing. Chapter 13 are for individuals. It means you're reorganizing your debt. And some of the things you can do, I'll do a really brief Chapter 13 analysis. You got three types of creditors, mainly three types of creditors. You got priority, which are back taxes, back child support, criminal restitution, back alimony. Those things you can stop the interest on, but you got to pay them back in a 3 to 5 year plans. Then you've got the second type of debt. You got secured. Secured are where your mortgages and cars go. In a Chapter 13, you can do a couple of things. One, if you've got 2 mortgages on your home and your house is worth less than your first mortgage, which is about everybody these days, I can take your second mortgage. You've got a first and a second. You can take your second and put it down here in the unsecured pile. My handwriting is really bad, but that's supposed to be unsecured. Then you've got a first mortgage. First mortgage are, with household finance, Wells Fargo, whatever it is, you've got these huge mortgages. A lot of them are the negative AM things that the bank sold people, or the adjustable rates, or interest only. They're horrible, horrible loans. And people between the layoffs and the cuts in pays, they just can't pay it anymore. Not to mention the fact that their houses are upside down anyway, they don't want them to. So what happens with the mortgage modifications are, while I cannot reduce the principal, sometimes we do, we get lucky, but you can't reduce the principal without the bank's cooperation and agreement to do it. And sometimes, believe it or not, they will. They eventually realize it's in their best interest, because it is in their best interest. But with first mortgages, we come up with an amount that people can pay. And it's based on their income, it's based on what the house is worth, it's based on what the taxes and insurance are worth, and the idea is to come up with a number that works for the individual. You've all heard about HAMP. We're almost never using HAMP anymore. HAMP is 31% of your income. And as a rule, when I'm just doing the plan and trying to estimate what it's going to be, because to begin with we have to make some payment to the mortgage company, I use 31% as a number. And that's partly because it's as good a number as any to use, and it's partly because Judge Gentleman says I have to. So we're using 31% at the beginning, and that includes your payment on your taxes and insurance. So we do that, and we'll do a plan. Let's say that mortgage payment comes out to $800 a month, and it used to be $1,600 or $1,700 without interest or insurance, but now we're going to make it $800. And I'm going to do this one through 6 months. In that 6 months period of time, we're going to have a mediation because the bankruptcy court has now ordered it. And in my office, we do our mediations. In my office, with an attorney, my law partner, Catherine Jones, who works with me, helps me with this. We do that with a mediator, and the client sits there, and on the phone is the creditor's attorney and the creditor's representative. I'll be honest, the first few times we set these up, we still get problems with the mortgage company losing the paperwork. I mean, I don't know how or why. I mean, people call the banks too big to fail. They're too big to be competent is really what it is. They're not competent. But we keep having them. If we have too many of them, we have to pay a mediator fee of $385. I go to court and I make the mediator pay it. They have to cooperate. One of the mortgage companies didn't cooperate, and someone did a motion for contempt. Judge Gentleman finally got annoyed and she extinguished the debt. So that gets their attention really quick. I've got one right now where the attorney is telling me, hey, they haven't hired us to represent them in mediation. It's Wells Fargo. Let's say that. Wells Fargo says that we've hired them. The attorney says, no, they haven't hired us. We've filed 2 motions to compel. I've now done a motion for order to show cause why the debt won't be extinguished. If they don't show up, my judge will give my client a free house. So that's a pretty heavy stick to hold over their heads. So we eventually have the modification. We're running in our office close to 85-90% success rate. Sometimes people get offers and they say, no, I'm going to walk away, I don't want this. And that's okay. You know, if they won't give us a good enough offer, then we walk away. But we're getting good offers. An example would be, I had somebody, a couple with 3 children, $125,000 mortgage. She's on disability, he's unemployed. We got a mortgage modification of $298 a month for these people. That includes the insurance and the taxes. So we're heroes to them because they get to stay in their house with their 3 children. And I've stripped off their second mortgage. Incidentally, all of your other debt, we can also cram down cars if you've owed them long enough. If not, you keep making payments or you surrender. Everything else is unsecured. And in Chapter 13, unsecured is all your other debt. You pay your unsecured creditors based on what kind of stuff you have. If you have too much personal property, what we call non-exempt property, and almost no one does these days. And the second thing would be disposable income. When you have disposable income to pay your creditors, nobody really minds paying their creditors. Well, they may mind, but that's fair. Most of the time, nobody has disposable income these days. I'm not having a big issue with that. So we do a 3 to 5 year plan where we set your mortgage at a lower payment. It's permanent. I have creditors sometimes because, as I said, they're too big to be incompetent, we'll still go forward with foreclosure or something. I file a motion for sanctions, go back into court. I got awarded $12,000 with Bank of America for violating it. Again, you know, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, some of them are not particularly competent, so they make mistakes. I don't even think at this point it's a conspiracy. I think they're just stupid. And they don't have educated people working there. They've sent a lot of our jobs to foreign countries, so they don't know what's going on. That's not, you know, they don't speak English as well as they ought to understand what mortgages and what banks have told them to do. So we go back and we punish them. But by and large, it's working. And as I said, I have some pretty big sticks that work for 3 to 5 years, and if they violate it after that period of time, then I come back and reopen it and still get sanctions. So you're protected this way. The banks can't do anything to you while you're in the 13, and as I said, I can go back and take care of you after the 13. And there's several other attorneys in Orlando doing it. I'm in Brevard. I come over here 3 or 4 times a week to come to court because this is where the courthouse is. And I don't know if any of y'all know what's going on in Brevard, but you know, I think our unemployment is closer to 20% than the national, almost 10%. So, because we've stopped the shuttle program. So we lost most of our major employers are gone. So there's a lot of people doing this right now. It's been terribly successful. There's a lot of things that could be done in a Chapter 13. I can be as creative for individuals and help individuals as much as attorneys who've been previously doing Chapter 11s for businesses. So in this area, we have some help. It's starting to spread across the country, but we started it here. And we did start it with working with creditors' attorneys because they had something to lose. They have accountability with the judges. And we work together. It's just too bad that we can't get Congress to do as well and work together and come up with something. But it is working. It's not enough. I really want to be able to cram down first mortgages. I really want the law to change. I think that Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Orlando is the leverage that we might finally have to make the banks and our government listen to us so that we can get that. But this is the best we have right now. And it's a big start, and we're very, very proud of it here in Orlando. Questions?
So you're getting these modifications on the mortgage through the bankruptcy. The federal law comes in and makes the bank adhere to the plan that you lay out for the borrower, right? And that's for
it makes them come to the table and play by at least their own investors' rules, which we're able to look at.
And that starts from the second you file the bankruptcy, because the automatic stay, which is a law that says nobody can touch a debtor for any reason from the moment they file bankruptcy until they get court permission or the bankruptcy is over.
Correct. So it starts the moment we file.
Okay. And I'm really asking this one even more. These modifications that you're getting, it's a 3 to 5 year plan. Is the modification stay, or is the plan just catching up on your arrearage for the
No, we're wiping out the arrearage.
Okay.
There is no no arrearage
Right.
before
When you
done.
get to
So
the
you
end of
don't
the
pay the arrearage with the plan. You're wiping it out, and it's a permanent modification.
And the payments don't go back to where they were.
No, they don't.
Wow, that is brand new.
Yeah, it is brand new. And it's amazing.
That is amazing. Okay.
Just for the whole state?
It's right now this program is only working here in the Middle District. We're doing talks and seminars across the state, but right now it's just here. There's something similar in New York, but it does not have the same oversight and the same accountability that our
Now, when you
does.
say here, you mean Seminole County?
Seminole County, yes.
So it doesn't work for Volusia County?
Well,
Volusia's in the central.
Volusia's technically in Jacksonville, but we file them in Orlando all the time, and it's okay to do. It's in Middle District, the Jacksonville division, but we file them here all the time. Now, if you don't live in your house, I can do all kinds of things for you. I can actually cram down the mortgages to what they're worth. I can do what it is I want to do if you don't live there. It's weird, it's bizarre,
If you
but
don't
it's
live
just,
there?
Huh?
If you don't live there?
If you don't live there, which seems counterintuitive, and it is, but it was a way for the banks to screw the middle class.
They've already done that.
Well, they started a long time ago. They've really stepped up the pace now, some I'm sure, but that's the only loan you can't cram down is your home mortgage. I can strip off a second. I can strip off a home equity, but I can't cram it down without the bank's agreement, which sometimes the banks will agree. We got one where they were on Social Security, and there was just no way they were ever going to be able to pay it, and we got the mortgage down to again around the $300 or $400 mark, and they agreed to write off some of the mortgage.
What's the longest you've ever had a house in foreclosure?
What's the longest in my office? 5 years.
No.
5 years, and we haven't filed bankruptcy yet. So I do a lot of delaying ahead of time, but I'm not charging per month or some sort of. I don't really specialize in mortgage foreclosure because it doesn't work. The mortgage foreclosure defense, you hear a lot about the loans. You can't tell who owns the loans, and that's true, and the securitization issues, but for the most part, judges are not buying that. I know you hear about the free house in state court when they didn't really own the mortgage. That's not happening very much. It doesn't really happen very often at all. So mortgage foreclosure defense is not working. I will help people file a response. I won't charge them for that because it's not ultimately going to work, and I ethically don't feel like I should. I'm not saying that other attorneys shouldn't and aren't doing a good job, but I focus on bankruptcy. So I will sometimes help my clients delay the foreclosure so they can get ready and get the money and get prepared for the Chapter 13. I saw a woman the other day who there's just no way, even if with what I'm doing, that she has the money to do it. She doesn't pay her mortgage for a year and a half, which is typical. Then she'll have more money, and I can probably make it work at that point. I don't mind doing it on a long-term plan, and I don't mind setting them up so they stay in their house for that period of time. I think that's my job, and I'm happy to do it. I don't charge to do that.
There are some foreclosure defense scams out there, not to say, like you said, that there may not be good, valid legal defenses to mortgage foreclosure, but these little bandit signs you see on the side of the road, call us for foreclosure defense. But what Carol alluded to is that a lot of those people will take your money, send us your mortgage payment or however much you can make, and we'll kind of fend off the foreclosure. What those guys will typically do is take your money for as long as you'll give it to them, file one thing in the court to slow it down, and then once you stop paying them, they stop defending and you go to foreclosure anyway. There's always lawyers that can raise a meritorious defense if you've got one, but there's a lot of kind of crap out there too. Bankruptcy's real, and if you're I would just suggest that anyone that consults with